Welcome to a new edition of Opening Night, coming to you from the Captain's Lounge studios. Today we're going to be talking about the Moon Theatre's production of You Can't Take It With You. Let's do a quick round the table with the actors that are here and the director. Shane?
Hi, my name is Shane Grant, and I'm directing the production You Can't Take It With You.
Excellent. Sasu?
Hi, my name is Sasu Solomon, and I play Tony in You Can't Take It With You.
Perfect. Kathleen?
Hi, my name is Kathleen Grumman, and I play Penny in You Can't Take It With You.
Robin?
My name's Robin Burrell, and I'm playing Essie, and You Can't Take It With You.
Excellent. This is quite an old show, so let's really get into the grit about this. Why do that particular play now?
In all honesty, I can't speak to why the board of the theater chose it, but I can speak to why I think it's a good show to be done now.
Perfect.
It's about 85 years old. It premiered on Broadway in 1936, but it's a really timely piece. It's a perennial favorite. The show is very charming. The characters are very charming. It has a wonderful message of living for your own fulfillment. And that speaks particularly, I think, right now to a millennial generation in which folks are renegotiating what it means to work and to work for fulfillment versus working for profit and accumulation of wealth and property. It questions what it means where you live. These folks still live at home. Essie is married, has been for quite some time. In the course of the play, they start to consider children, but there's no mention of leaving the Vanderhoff Sycamore home. So even though this play is almost 85 years old, it really reflects the way that recent changes in the way that younger generations are living their lives and thinking about what it means to live a life. And so in that respect, with it being very contemporary in that idea, yet being a chestnut, if you will, it also provides an opportunity for intergenerational communication and examination that is not contentious. And that's what I really love about the show.
I had not realized the show was that old, to be honest with you. So this was written really about Depression era?
Yes.
Was it written before or
During?
Wow, during.
During. Yeah, the crash was 1929, and this premiered 7 years later.
Oh, okay.
So things were starting to improve, primarily for the folks who didn't get damaged too badly.
Yes.
But so it premiered around the upswing.
Excellent. Sasu, tell me, what made you want to audition for this particular show?
Well, I recently got a new job, so I quit my old job, so my schedule got better, for one. I'm familiar with Kathleen and the Moon Theater Company. I did a previous show with them, and it was a good experience. So I was missing theater, and the opportunity arose, and I reached out to Kathleen, and she said there was an audition, and so
Nice.
that's how it happened.
So here you are.
Here we are, a few weeks later.
Kathleen, yourself.
As far as doing this show, I've actually done this show twice before. Once I played Essie, and that was back in the 80s, and then I directed it probably about 9 years ago. And so it's a show that I really, really love, and I was just so excited to be able to have graduated into the role of Penny, because she's really one of my favorite characters, you know, of all time in theater. I love this character, so it's very fulfilling, and I'm very honored to be able to play this part.
Excellent, excellent. Robin, you decided to audition for a show. Why did you choose this one?
Because it was available.
Good answer.
One of my New Year's resolutions was to be more creative and find some things to channel my creativity. And I just wrote, I wanted to audition for something, you know, put myself back out there and just go for it. And so the day that I had decided, I just Googled auditions in northern Colorado and found Shane's listing for the show. And I had seen it before, the year that I graduated high school, or the year after I graduated high school. All my friends who were still in high school, that was their production. And so I was familiar with the show, and I remember it was so funny and so darling. And so I was really excited to just be part of this show specifically.
Excellent, excellent. So the Moon Theatre Company, based in Loveland, obviously.
Berthoud Loveland.
Berthoud Loveland, yeah.
Yeah.
Mustn't forget Berthoud, no matter how much you want to. Berthoud Loveland area. Why did Moon Theatre Company decide? Does anyone know why they decided this would be the show to do right at the moment?
Well, we had been really successful with this show 9 years ago when we did it in Berthoud. And when we did it in Berthoud, we did it in the basement of a church there that we used to perform in quite a bit. And so when we were thinking about shows that might really speak to the public and kind of, you know, finishing off what Shane was talking about too, we felt like that this would be a timely show for this, you know, for the people today. When we did it in the church, it was a very restricted space, and it wasn't, you know, we could only seat about 100 people. And so we figured that to do it in the venue of the Rialto, make it available for more people to be able to come and see. It's just a feel-good, family-friendly, great way to spend an evening,
right.
You know?
Do you all feel the same way as Shane, where when this was written, it was very, very prevalent? And then obviously things changed through the 40s, 50s, 60s. But now you feel that we're swinging back into that sort of makeup that the show covers? Is that a fair statement?
I believe so. Of course, in the years following the Depression, families stayed tighter knit under one roof out of necessity.
Yes.
And that's not really the case for this family. In many ways, they've created this safe place, to use a very contemporary term, where they can do what they want to do and be who they want to be. They can practice ballet. They can paint or write plays. They can manufacture fireworks in the cellar. So it's become a place where they can pursue their interests, is really kind of the context that it existed in its original production. And then, because it is so charming, it just remained a perennial favorite. But now it has moved in to have some different meaning, I think, in our current age.
I think one thing that we should cover, and we were talking about this before we started recording, the play and the movie are totally different, which is surprising to me. I've never seen the play, I've only ever seen the movie. So it's a little surprising, because typically when they make a movie of a play, they try and stick basically to the storyline as best they can, especially when it's a play. Mm-hmm. When it's a book, and you're trying to cover 500 pages in an hour and a half, yeah, stuff's going to get cut.
Yeah.
But they already have something that runs an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. So why mess with it? What are the main differences here between the two? Why should people who have seen the movie but never seen the play come and see the play?
The main difference is that the movie is about kind of rescuing a very staunch capitalist from his trench of capitalism, that he kind of leads a very narrow life. It's Mr. Kirby, the character that is Sesu's father. And the movie really focuses on rescuing him from that. Whereas the play is very much about Penny's daughter, Alice. She falls in love with Tony, and we've got an eccentric family that does what they want to do, and we have a very staid and traditional family. And can the families merge? Can they successfully come together to support the marriage? And when it looks like that can't happen, Alice decides to leave. And so in many ways the play, whereas the movie focuses on rescuing Mr. Kirby from that life, the play focuses on keeping Alice in that life. And so the focus is very different, even though many of the events of the play and the movie are parallel. They've just reframed it.
So they've literally turned everything around. They've done a 180 of what the original play was the story it was trying to tell.
Yes, the play was 36 and the film is 39. And so they took a play that was about a woman and they turned it into a movie about a man.
Plus the play is much, much funnier than the movie.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This sounds like a good one to... Where is Loveland, anyway? No. I mean, are you having fun learning your roles? How are you getting into your roles? Was it difficult for you to get into your roles? Because some people find it difficult, some people just find it very, very easy. Why don't you head off on this?
Oh, I will. I have so much to say, so stop me because I'll just ramble. So one of my main characteristics, my character, is she is an adult. She's late 20s, early 30s, and she has decided she is going to be a ballerina. And to me, I absolutely love that because in doing my research to be this character, there's this resurgence of adult ballet and bar classes, these exercises that maybe women or men who took dance class when they were young kids now are getting back into it as their exercise. Kind of like where yoga was, and now bar is becoming equally trendy. And so seeing that and seeing this character on stage, it's funny that she's like, oh, I'm going to be a dancer, I'm going to be a ballerina now in my late 20s, early 30s, but it's a thing. Like, people are really doing it now. And so it lends to that contemporary piece that Shane was talking about. Sure, this play's 80-some years old, but there will probably be some women or men in the audience who are just now getting back into ballet. So
Not
that's
me.
I mean, have you tried it?
Oh, if you saw me in ballet tights, you'd know why I would not be going back into ballet. Anyway, enough about that. Kathleen, how about yourself?
Well,
Because I'm more used to you being on the production side of shows.
Right,
And,
because when we've talked before, I've been directing, but this has been a nice departure from me from the directing to get back on stage. And like I said before, I always loved this role of Penny, but Penny is kind of eclectic and she's a dreamer, and she just gets very excited about stuff. And I would think that doesn't really fall far from actually where I am, kind of that same sort of person. And so I wouldn't say that it's a huge acting stretch for me, but I am just having so much fun bonding with this woman in this role. It's just been a very fulfilling thing for me. So
excellent. Sesu, I mean, are you happy with the role you got?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's always cool to be somewhat of a lead. I'm very new to theater, so I don't really have any tactics for developing a character and things like that. But it's cool. I guess, to be honest, I haven't done too much research. I just kind of meditate before the shows.
Directing the show, is there anything difficult about the direction, or
The size of the cast.
how big is the cast?
19.
19.
19. What makes the size in particular difficult is that a lot of the characters come in for a page and then go out for 2 pages. And so you got to get people there
Stage manager hell.
Yeah. You got people there for extended periods of time. And so to be conscientious of people's time commitments, because everyone here is a volunteer, and get the work done is a bit of a challenge. But it's a challenge I strongly feel we've been rising to. Another challenge with this script is to some degree the space itself. The stage is not very deep.
Oh.
And so to get 19 people, actually I don't think we ever have all 19 on stage at once. I think we have 17 on stage at once. In a tight space, produces some challenges in creating stage pictures that help tell the story and whatnot. But again, it's been a fun challenge to rise to and to figure that out and to make the show visually appealing,
Right.
as well as appealing just through the story and the words.
I've been desperately trying to work out when you open, and I think it's the 11th of April. Does that sound about right?
The 12th.
12th, okay.
Yes,
So
Friday the
I was
12th of
close.
April. Yes.
Of course, the last thing we'd want is a whole slew of people outside the
On the
theatre
11th.
on the 11th
Yeah,
when
we
they're
don't
going
want
to
that.
have to wait till the 12th. But memory serves me
Attention
well. There's a
cast,
good
we open
little-
tonight. We're not turning them away. We're taking their money.
Does anyone have any last words they'd like to share about the show?
Well, we want everybody to come see the show. It's going to be a bunch of fun, and it's fun to come downtown Loveland. It's fun to have dinner and then come see our show and just leave feeling great.
Shane, last words?
Yes, as the person behind the table watching all of their work, come and see these folks do what they're doing. If they're having a good time, you will have a good time watching them have a good time. It'll be a very enjoyable evening.
Yes. Sesu, any final words?
Yeah, my favorite part of just performing, I love performance art. My favorite part is just the end of the show when you see people's faces, when I don't know what it's called officially, but when you walk out and people are greeting you at the end.
Oh, the meet and greet at the
meet
end.
and greet, there we go. That's the official name. Yeah, that's my favorite part, is just seeing how people reacted to your performance in the whole show.
Yeah,
Shout out to 'em.
I always found that interesting as well when I was acting, because depending on what your character was on stage would depend on how people actually greeted you.
Exactly.
And if you were playing sort of like a villainous part, you'd end up getting snubbed.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but it's like a barometer for how, well you portrayed your
Yeah.
role.
You know, when I did Chaps, a very good friend of mine, Amy Jo Searle, she had never, ever, ever been to a theatre before. And she was, 42, 43 back then when we did Chaps. And she said afterwards, and we were having a beer at the old Cheers, and she said it was amazing, Nigel. She said, for the first 2 minutes, she said, I'd sit there going, that's Nigel. And then I forgot it was Nigel. It was Leslie Briggs Stratton. She just totally forgot that I was her friend that had known her doing karaoke for years and years and years. And that, to me, was the biggest compliment I've ever had as an actor.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
One of my favorite lines in the play, and this is a total
Don't
paraphrase.
give anything away here. Spoiler alert!
It's a total paraphrase, but Grandpa says, as long as she's having fun. And I think that that's what people will get out of coming to see our show, is just having some fun.
Excellent. The Captain's Lounge, myself personally, I'd like to thank you all for making this time on a Saturday. I know you have sets to build, and you've only got 1.5 weekends to build them in. So I had better be letting you guys go, because I'd like to have talked to you all much more about, theatre in general, acting in general, directing in general, because that would have made with this group, a very interesting conversation. 12th of April, you must go and see it. You can't take it with you, in Loveland. Get your tickets now. You're going to have a gas watching this show. Nothing beats live theatre. Nothing. Signing off, I'm Nigel Aves, your host. This was opening night. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.